On a cold Christmas Eve in 1945, the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia, was engulfed in flames. George and Jenny Sodder escaped the inferno with 4 of their 10 children. But 5 of their children, Maurice 14, Martha 12, Louis 10, Jenny 8, and Betty 5, were never seen again. What followed was one of the most confounding and haunting missing persons cases in American history. At around 1 a.m. on December 25, Jenny Sodder awoke to a strange phone call. The woman on the line asked for someone Jenny didn't know, then laughed before hanging up. Shrugging it off, Jenny noticed the lights were still on and the curtains open. Odd, since her children usually did these chores before bed. She returned to sleep, only to be jolted awake again around 1:30 a.m. by the sound of something heavy hitting the roof and then a rolling noise. Within minutes, smoke began filling the home. George and Jenny escaped with 4 children, but the upstairs, where 5 others had been sleeping, was engulfed in flames. George tried desperately to reach them. He smashed a window to re-enter the house, slicing his arm. The ladder he always kept by the house to reach the second-floor windows was missing. He tried moving his trucks to climb on top, but inexplicably neither of the 2 trucks which had been working the day before would start. The fire department didn't arrive until nearly 8 hours later. Initially, authorities concluded that the 5 children had perished in the fire. But no bones or human remains were found in the ashes, something forensic experts later argued was highly unusual, especially since the fire had burned for only 45 minutes and temperatures weren't hot enough to completely cremate bodies. George and Jenny refused to accept that their children had died. They began investigating on their own, uncovering bizarre details. A bus driver claimed he saw balls of fire being thrown onto the roof that night. A woman said she saw the missing children peering out of a passing car during the fire. Another woman working at a tourist stop said she saw the children a week later, accompanied by adults who wouldn't let them speak. They theorized their children had been kidnapped, possibly due to George's outspoken anti-Mussolini views, which had caused tension in the local Italian-American community. Desperate for answers, the Sodders put up a billboard along Route 16, with pictures of the children and a reward for information. It stood for decades and became a local landmark. In 1967, Jenny received a photograph in the mail of a man in his 20s with a striking resemblance to Louis, one of the missing boys. The back was cryptically labeled, "Louis Sodder. I love brother Frankie. Illo boys. A 90132 or 35. They hired a private investigator to track the sender, but he vanished, never to be heard from again. Jenny wore black in mourning for the rest of her life. George died in 1969, Jenny in 1989. The remaining Sodder children and their descendants continued searching, but no trace of the 5 lost siblings has ever been found. The case of the Sodder children remains officially unsolved. Were they killed in the fire? Or spirited away that night in a premeditated kidnapping? The lack of remains, the suspicious circumstances, and the cryptic clues make this one of the most baffling unsolved crimes in American history.